Here we go, banter. Cool. So, banter today comes from a friend who posted, or I guess, yeah, she was at a party and it was a baby shower, and it's this list of questions that says Black Mama sayings, and I was like, this is the ultimate black test. It's 25 questions. I was very surprised at myself that I got all 25 right. Again, it's called Black Mama sayings.
Do we have to go through all 25?
I'm not going through all 25. I'm going to go through the ones that I think are funny.
Okay.
So you have to fill in the blank.
Okay.
So we're going to start with the easy one. The first one says, these are Black Mama sayings. So this is something that your Black Mama would say to you. I'm not one of your little blank.
Friends.
Bing, 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 bing. You probably get through. I'm gonna give you maybe 20 out of 25.
Okay.
Okay. Another one says, stop all that crying before blank.
I'll beat your ass.
That's what you got?
Or I'll give you something to cry about?
That's the one that's what I thought. Go take a shower, you smell like blank.
Ass.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
I think the most common answer would be outside.
Yeah, we don't ever have that problem.
What you mean?
Like, for my family, like, we wasn't really outside. And if we was, like, if anything, like, they definitely did you take a good bath check, like, make us look at our hands, feet, stuff like that. But I haven't been where they told me that I smell like outside. I usually have to be inside and already take a bath after I do my homework already. So it's not like I've been outside all day and they told me that. I'm a woman, or a girl at that time. Being outside wasn't really a factor for me.
Yeah, that was a common. Go take a shower. You smell like you've been outside all day. Well, you smell like outside. Because I be outside. Outside don't even have a smell.
Yes, I do.
What does it smell like?
Dogs. Like you
said
smell,
dogs?
Yeah, you could smell a dog that's like outside, then a dog that's like at home more, or even gets like groomed often. Like there's a certain dog smell, and then there's dogs that don't.
So
have
you could be outside all day and you'll smell like a dog?
That would be my comparison, because I've seen the difference between like a dog that stay outside and come in maybe once in a while.
But you not smell like no dog.
It could be a possibility.
You smell like a dog?
Not me.
That's what I'm saying.
I've already told you what my stance is. I'm telling you what the assumption could be. I'm not telling you what my experience has. I already told you what my experience is. We don't have the outside smelling type of thing. Like we get I'm gonna check if you wash behind your ears and your ass and your armpits.
No, I get that. I'm saying like as far as like outside having a smell, I've never like, unless you're somewhere and it stinks.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the only thing I can compare to is dogs. Like because I have a dog and I've been around other people with dogs. Like I could tell that when I'm around my dog, like my dog doesn't smell like a dog or outside. But I know that there's dogs that like even if you put your hands on them, now your hands smell like a dog. My dog's not like that. You can pet with my dog and your hands be cool. Yes, you still might want to wash them, but there's other dogs where once you touch them or they're around you, you smell crazy.
Understood.
What's the next one?
This is probably an easy one. I brought you in this world and blank.
I can bring you. I can take you out.
This is a good one. If somebody hit you first, blank.
You better hit them back.
I've heard that. I've heard knock them out. Knock the ass out. That's usually the most common one.
I feel like that's the objective, but usually it's just like, don't let nobody touch you. If they touch you, you put hands on them. Can we guarantee that you're going to be able to knock them out? Maybe that is your thought process. It might not be, but you're not going to let them just put hands on you and you don't do nothing about it.
I think it's weird to teach that to your kids today.
My parents never taught me that. Well, specifically, I want to say my mom. Maybe my dad definitely would say that, but my mom always was like, there's always a conversation that you can have. She never resorted to violence. She always tried to like deter it or find reasoning. And I'm just like, but that person didn't take that time out to do that for me. And now I'm in distress.
I just feel like the world we live in today, you tell your kid to hit back. You don't know what that kid, I don't know. I'm just afraid of losing life, I would say.
Which I can understand, but it could also be the other way around. And we're also talking about how we grew up, right? I can't say that's what's happening now, because I even think about even kids just being outside. Like, I feel like for us, it was completely different. It was okay to be outside, go around the block or stuff like that. And now we're in a space where, you know, you don't want your kids to go outside. You'd rather just have them inside because you don't know what's going to happen. So I think those sayings are really just based off how we grew up and what was said to us, because obviously things have changed so dramatically that you try to install different things in your children. But I definitely don't think people weren't any ways to put hands on you. Like, I'm not saying that you have to always put hands on somebody else, but if you ever feel attacked, there's no reason for you not to try to defend yourself. Don't allow somebody to belittle you or make you feel less than because they feel like they have an advantage, because now you've taken the Good Samaritan role and just allow them to bully you.
For sure.
Stand up for yourself.
Absolutely. Defend yourself at all costs.
Whether it's with your words or your hands. Do what you gotta do.
Just stay alive, people.
Right.
Okay, 2 more. Then we'll be done with this. I hope you know that schoolwork like you know those
lyrics.
Mm-hmm. That was always dumb to me. No, I don't know my schoolwork like I know these lyrics. The lyrics are more catchy.
Yeah, by the time we took to learn the words, we had to rewind it a few times. We didn't have the luxury of streaming where we just played it back to get the words.
See, now that's not true. I would say if you are like, especially in when we grew up, like if it was a hit, it was constantly being played everywhere. Radio, stores, forget streaming. It's just like you constantly heard it. So especially if it was super catchy. Think about a TV a jingle for a commercial. That joke probably you didn't rewind it to TV to play the jingle again, but you know it.
I get it.
Cause that joke was always on.
I get that.
Last one. Keep rolling your eyes in. What?
Something about like smacking your head so your eyes won't something.
What?
I feel like you would smack your head and your eyes roll back, and I don't know.
I've only heard 2 things. It's either keep rolling your eyes, or I'ma slap you so they get stuck that way.
That's what I was trying to say.
Got you. Or keep rolling your eyes, or they just get stuck like that.
That's
but it's always a smack. There's
a physical, yeah.
That's sad.
Again, these are things that I just feel like I perpetuated just being in the Black community, but I haven't had those conversations with my parents like that.
I have every last 25.
Yeah, none of them
phrases.
Like my parents didn't talk like
Forget you. Whether it's my parents, my aunt, anybody, somebody has said one of these phrases to me. I've heard every last one of them.
Yeah, not me.
Shout outs to you.
I just think I just grew up a little bit differently, where they punished or responded to their children in a different way than that. And they're also immigrants where those words or even thought processes it might be a way sometimes similar, but they don't respond in the same way.
Are you saying that like they had their own sayings?
I'm gonna say that, and I also think that when you do grow up in immigrant household, especially when it's like fairly strict in the beginning, those are things that you don't even try to deal with. There's just certain things like rolling your eyes. That's not going. If they never gonna see you roll your eyes.
Yeah.
like being disrespectful. Like you won't even get a chance. You won't even be able to eat food the next day if you try to. It's just certain things where it's just like it don't really got to be said. It's just understood.
Understood. All right, we good?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that you have either underestimated the thought process of this woman.
You don't think I prepared?
This is too much.
This is every week, bro.
I'm ready.
The gist of this conversation is that I'm right and y'all wrong.
Gigi.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Convo 170 of Just a Conversation with Greg and Gigi. I'm the person that talks first. And I'm joined here by my sister.
Gigi. All right. This holiday season didn't really feel very holiday-ish, but I'm believing in the next coming years or two that it'll feel more holiday-ish as we go on. I just think it just takes time to heal from certain things, and I think eventually it'll get back to a space where there's like a new normal where you can just appreciate like where you're at and where you're heading and just appreciate the people around you. I'm just not there yet.
Understood.
What about you?
I'm doing good. Holidays were, I would say Christmas was Christmas. Appreciate all the people who didn't allow me to be alone on Christmas. That was great. Tried so hard to, but just didn't work out in my favor.
I came to see you.
Sure did. Yeah, I think this Christmas could have been way sadder. But I appreciate friends for not allowing me to make it, for allowing it to feel sad. And when I think about it, it's just mad shit you gotta, as a parent, like you gotta put mad shit together. Like I put 16 mirrors on her wall. That shit was not fun.
I gotta see this.
It don't look that great to me. But when I looked at like the finals on like Amazon and shit, there's no way in hell that was gonna go the way that they thought that was gonna go.
So why didn't you look at that before you?
No, I did it because it's not really about the
aesthetic.
No, yeah, it's just more about the like it's like a mirror for her to dance in.
That's what I assumed. That's why you had so many. I just assumed that was the case.
And it looks fine. Like it's cool. It's cool. And I'm done with tobacco. I gotta get me and tobacco are done. Ever since I started using the Dutch Masters again because I just got tired of the hemp stuff. Coughing like a motherfucker.
But you know that already. I just think you just go through certain moments in your life where you try to do it. But I think we always get here when you do that.
And you know what? We're gonna come back here too.
I believe that too.
That's just life. But yeah, overall, I'm straight. Looking forward to the New Year.
Yeah. I kinda am too.
I was asking you, were you looking forward to the New Year?
I'm gonna say yeah. I think that there's a lot of things I gotta leave in 2024 for me to really appreciate what the New Year is supposed to bring for me. But right now, since I'm still in it, I just think that it's hard for me to see it. But once the New Year starts, I think I'll be able to find a better grasp with it for sure. But I am looking for the changes and different opportunities and experiences that I do have coming for sure.
Dope. Very optimistic. I'm just not looking forward to writing 2025 because I'm going to put 2024 a lot until I realized it's 25.
Okay. I think that's okay. I think that's usually a thing for people initially.
Yeah, it's just annoying at times, but cool. Jump into some topics.
Sure.
So, as we are ending 2024, what do you believe was the most impactful story that you saw this year? Whether it's in pop culture, whether it was in your personal life, what was the most important event that you feel like happened in 2024?
You can go first.
It's a lot happened this year. I would say, honestly, it's probably that Cat Williams interview. I think that kind of set the tone for the year. I mean, just with all the stuff that he said and a lot of it coming to fruition, I think that was probably that definitely set the tone. I think it set the tone for not just him, but like even if you look at like Shannon Sharp, how his name has skyrocketed, and then how everything that has happened, whether it's with Diddy or with Drake and Kendrick, or even the stuff with Trump that's happened, like him winning the election. If you go back to that interview, oh boy, he's saying all of these things. It is kind of like, somebody should protect that man because it's too much. There's too much truth that came out. I think if you believe that like somebody's behind the scenes controlling all that, like no, you can't talk about that. But he did, and so yeah, I think that was probably the most impactful event in pop culture.
Okay, in pop culture. I'm gonna just put my 2 cents on what you're saying. I can see that. I do believe that if I would pick out any of those things that you said, especially about the Kendrick and Drake situation, is that like we've gotten to a space where even the untouchable people feel like now they can be touched, and now they're responding in a way where it doesn't really benefit the industry. It really just becomes a detriment to their brand and who they are. We've seen, Drake go into battles with a few people and his music didn't stop. And now we see him in a battle he lost, and now he's trying to sue. It's like he's not even going about it in a battle rapper type of situation. Now you're going into it on you're petty and you hurt, and now you want to hurt other people in a ways where it doesn't have nothing to do with the music. Now it has everything to do with my money and my brand and what you're trying to take away from it. And I think that plays a lot into the characteristics that we're starting to see in the people that we had respect for, and now we are losing respect for them, for sure.
I can see that.
I think. Oh, just recap the question and make sure that I'm responding to it in the
Just
right.
the most important event of 2024 for you. It could be personal, pop culture related, whatever.
Like in pop culture, I have like an idea, but I don't think it's important. I think it was very influential, but I don't think it's important.
Was it influential for you?
I don't want to say no.
Why wasn't it important?
Because of what it is. And now I just see it as just how the most ordinary people become viral because of their hurt and pain. And I realized that the one storyline that I realized throughout this year is that Black pain is money. Like if you doing great things, they don't care about that. If you hurt, you got beat up, you've been betrayed, got cheated on, that is the topics that get the plays. Those are the topics that people pay attention to or want to go into or just experience it. And I was like, and not saying that it doesn't happen in any other culture, but for some reason it just seems like the idea of looking at Black pain is now entertainment, to the point where even like when I think about the Zeus networks or even social media, it's just like we can't have something. Even when I think about like the Tyler Perry movies, like we can't have nothing that's positive. There always has to be some type of drama. There always has to be violence or some type of betrayal for it to get likes and views and responses. And it's like, I hope that going into next year that we find a different way to promote Black culture where it's not always about being sad or angry or mad or feeling disrespected. Like, why can't we, and I hate using the word Black excellence because I feel like if we thought about anybody that was on Black excellence, now they on the chopping block. But I would like to perpetuate that, allowing people that look like us to see more than drama, than kids fighting at schools. Like, why can't we just have, this sounds crazy, but like the Cosby Show and it'd be okay? Like, we don't have any positivity feeding into our culture. Everyone's angry, everyone's mad, everyone's upset. And so although it's not a positive thing, that's just one thing that I'm starting to realize more and more in 2024 is that there's no avenue. And there are spaces. I can't say that I'm not saying that there's not places where we have, but what's really monetized or what's promoted is our pain, is our inflictions. It's not us being our best versions of ourselves that's really being perpetuated in the media. And understanding that, and social media being so universal, it's like we still want to travel the world. And now people have these perceptions of us that we can't take off of us because there's a stigmatism attached to being Black now. Well, it's always has been. It just has perpetuated it because there's so many people that have access to it. And the idea that social media has become so much of an influence is that you don't even have to meet a person to create a judgment. Now you're just deciding that this is how this person is because of what you read or heard or saw on social media, because they look familiar to the person that you saw on social media.
That's what I agree with you. First off, like that's been a thing for a while. But 2024, I think you're right. It's been on the front lines a lot more. But that's just because we don't protect our culture. Like
we have a crab in a barrel mentality.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what to me that's what Kendrick was saying throughout this whole thing with Drake. It's fuck the music. It had yes, he made great music and it was a rap battle and all that stuff. But if you go back to the interview that he did with SZA for that magazine, he talked about how, like, because we don't protect our culture, we allow anything in. We allow anything in, and we allow anybody to reap the benefits of, not even reap the benefit, reap the benefits of our Blackness. So like how you're saying how people are just monetizing off of our pain, off of our ailments. Who's the one that's making the money off of us though? Because it ain't Black people making money off of us. That's like we allow that to happen. Like if he and then somebody brought up like the common I guess the common thing that people usually equate that to is like how the Jewish community always stands up for themselves. Like they stand up for anybody no matter who it is. Like if you're Jewish, you are like, we are not going to allow nobody to talk bad about you. We're not going to let nobody into this culture. We're not going to let nobody talk any way about this culture. It doesn't matter who you are. And because, like you said, we got that crab in the barrel mentality, I think that's why we've allowed like so much to happen to even to our greats. Like Diddy is in jail right now.
No,
granted,
he got to be in there.
He's a nasty man. Don't get me wrong. But it's stuff like that, or even better, like look at Jay-Z's now about to go on trial for something. Like these are our Black greats. I'm gonna say Diddy. We consider Diddy a Black great before all of this crap that went down. But I'm just saying, like when you have things like that, when you see Hell, even Drake. Drake is black, and you see what's been happening to him this past year. I think it's just sad that we don't stand up for our culture. We don't stand. I'm talking about black culture. We don't stand up for black culture enough. Us as black people don't do it.
But I can also say that we're talking about communities that already like they've either dominated certain industries and things that we already use. Like if you think about a lot of cultures, they've found ways to come together. But if you think about our history, it's a double-edged sword because we've always been perpetuated to think about others before we think about ourselves.
True.
And when it comes to think about ourselves, it's in a detriment to the same people that look like us. And so I don't think it's always our fault that it's like this, because even if you think about through times when we was thinking about getting rights, even when we got the right to vote, and when it finally got a chance for Black women to vote, we thought about just having the rights of women, and we didn't realize that we was fighting for white women's rights, not ours. And ours became the second thought. And I think that we're the only culture that becomes so inclusive with who we're allowed to let in. We don't have any restrictions, or we don't say that you can't be here because of our history, that it's easier for people to come in and take from us because we don't have that. We've literally been broken down to the point where in America, like I feel like in Africa, it'd probably be a better thought process. Not saying that they don't have some of the same struggles that we have, but you can see a community come together, but you can't see that in America. Like classism has become this thing where it's just like, if you're not here, then I don't really mess with you like that, or you're beneath me. It's not just seeing the person that looks like you or have the same skin tone as you, and you don't see them the same way. And I think that's super sad. And I think that's why, as a collective, we've understood that we've actually dominated this country, but on the gratification and the benefit of other people. Even if we think about when we get, as women, when we go to the beauty supply store, you don't see us. Maybe we might work in there, but the people that own the stores is usually Chinese. When you go to a gas station, it's not us. You probably see somebody that's Indian. Like, you're not really seeing us dominating any type of industry, because anything else, even when it comes to luxury brands, like a lot of luxury brands, and why they're so important is because Black people have poured their money into it, not being able to pay their bills, but they'll definitely look fly with a nice chain or a Louis on. And it's like, but those same individuals could care less about you or your community.
Yep.
And when you think about other cultures, at least when they're pouring into whether it's luxury or just a lifestyle, it's pouring back into their community. We don't have that. And then even if we do have something like that, let's even say that. I can't say all Black businesses, but we hear that even when it comes to Black business, that like it always ends up being some scammy type things, or they don't pay you. Like it's always something where it's just like, why can't we just really be functional? Why do we have to take from each other in order to get ahead?
Because that's what they taught us.
And now that's a detriment to our culture. And that's why they say that there's no culture, because we've allowed so many people to influence it or make it something that it's not.
You believe there's no culture?
I believe that anything that we've created, we've allowed other people to take over. So even if it is something that we've originated, we've allowed other people to take over and make it their own, and we kind of get lost in the background, like background noise. They don't ever give us credit to what we've perpetuated in the society, whether it's the music or the rapping or dancing or anything like that. It's just like they kind of pass over it, because if somebody else do it, then that's what gets the attention, not us.
Yeah.
And we've seen that with people that originated things. And once somebody else of a different culture does it, it pops off and they forget who originated it. And I think that's where the culture gets lost. It's like we understood who we are. I feel like that we are definitely one of the dominant individuals in the world because of how much influence we provided. But it's so easy for someone else to take our ideas or our swag or even our likeness and take it as their own, and then they forget who we are.
I agree. I wouldn't say there's no culture. It's just, yeah. I echo a lot of the sentiments that you just said. It's just, yeah. Excuse me. We just don't protect. We don't do enough to protect our culture, and the culture I'm referring to is black culture. The black culture that I know of, of what it means to be black, and it's not even about like I hear when people say like hip hop. Like, no, I'm just saying like what it means to be black in America and understanding like you gotta work 2 times harder than the next person. Because of that, you should be looking out for your people. So when you get on, they get on, kind of thing. We don't do that anymore. We used to. I still do. I try to do that for as many people as I possibly can. I think that crab in the barrel mentality is just not. It's not the wave. It's definitely not the way. You can be successful and help other people be successful as well. I do believe people need to lose. That doesn't take away from that fact. But
there doesn't always have to be people that look like you, though.
Bingo. So yeah. I think you articulated that very well. To get back to the topic. Wait, before we go back to the topic, did you see the triple six eight? That's what it is.
I don't even know what that is.
So it's this movie on Netflix. It's been like the number 1 movie for like the past.
It didn't come up for me. That's
for real.
Yeah.
So it's a Tyler Perry movie. And it's about.
That's probably why I wasn't excited to.
So you know what? I had the same reaction. Somebody told me to watch it, and and as soon as I saw the red description instead of Tyler Perry film, I was like, no. But I watched it. It's about the only the only female black platoon in World War II.
So I think I saw like the trailer maybe like online or something like that. But it was just the idea of Tyler Perry movie. I've tried so many times.
This was not a Tyler Perry movie. It wasn't anywhere.
You think he had other writers with him?
Absolutely. This movie was done very well. I can honestly see. I believe Kerry Washington should win some kind of award for this. So
she helped him write it.
I don't know if she would help him write it, but she was phenomenal in it.
Yeah, I believe that. She's a director herself. I don't think she would have allowed herself to be in something that she didn't believe in.
She bodied it like from the first line. I was like, damn. I think you would enjoy it. I think it was a very good movie. And it's a girl. The girl who stole the movie is the girl from Rahway. She's from Rahway, New Jersey.
Shout out to her.
Dang, I wish I knew her name. Don't know. Not really. Don't really care too much either. But she bodied her role. For sure. Overall, it was a really good movie. I would say go check it out if you got time. But going back to the topic.
The movie's 2 hours. Shit.
It don't feel like 2 hours. And honestly, it's like the last 15 minutes is of the actual people who the movie is about. Because it's based on a true story.
Yes. I'm looking at it as you speak.
So, and that was kind of dope to see that some of the people are still alive who
Is any of the people here?
Let me see. Billy Bob. Nope, not her. Shanice Williams.
Shout out to you, Shanice.
Big Jersey. I do. So these are not events. I won't say these events, but I just think the people. I've interacted with some of the I've interacted with people in places I thought I would never interact with them this year. And it kind of humanized people for me a little bit, which was
That's
pretty
very
good.
interesting.
Yeah, it's like you think of when you have like a mentor or someone that you revere. So it's hard to see them in certain places. Whereas like, but do you think like, oh shit, you're just a human just like me? Like you'll have a beer, you can have a beer, you'll drink. Um, and yeah, so just
I feel
having
like, but you've seen that. I feel like I've seen that too. I've saw the human, like even if I saw anyone as like, like superhuman, then as I spend time with them, I understand that they bleed like I bleed. It's just that they've maneuvered and figured out life.
for sure. I think with certain people though, I've never came to that understanding until this year. And now I feel like now is really nobody who I really put on that kind of level anymore. But it was yeah, I think like having certain people in my house, like, oh shit, you was at my house. I never thought that would happen, but hey, you are here.
And then your lighter got stolen.
Why you gotta bring a bullshit?
I'm just giving it real.
Why you gotta bring a bullshit? Ain't even that crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. But yeah, just seeing people in different in my personal life in different spaces help me humanize them a little bit more, which is I think that's gonna be it's gonna be it adds a different level to our relationships, to the relationship that I have with them. I think moving forward, which is fine.
I respect that.
So yeah,
Do you want to get into my topic?
do it.
Is there something that for 2024 that you regret, and is there something that you're grateful for?
I will start with what I'm grateful for. Kind of piggybacking off what I just said, I'm grateful that I've been able to, yeah, like just humanize certain people in my life because they wasn't. I was always afraid to disappoint them or just yeah, just not looking at them as like not saying that they're my peer because they're still not my peer, but it's just that I can see you in a different level now, at a different way, and I think that's going to be really beneficial for our relationship. I don't have any regrets. I don't do regrets. That's not something that I've ever done. So sorry, I don't have any regrets. No regrets.
You don't have to be sorry about it. It's just a topic of conversation. For me, I'll start off with gratefulness is that I think this year has shown me more about the people that I need to start paying attention to, that pay attention to me instead of worrying about everybody else, and to understand that going into 2025 is that I gotta have a different thought process for who's for me is gonna show me that they're for me. And if they're not, then I have to believe them. I can't just always just assume that it's a time frame. In the words of Maya Angelou, if someone shows you who they are, believe them. And so I'm kind of grateful that even though in this tumultuous state of the year for me, I've had a lot of ups and downs, but it just kind of provided me with more clarity on how to move forward in the coming year. So I'm just grateful for that, because if my eyes were closed and I wasn't open to the thought of healing and just being able to see what really benefits me, and not in a financial way or a vindictive way, it's just more of I want people around me that pours into me like I pour into them. And the more that I see it, and the more that I see that the people that don't do it, it's very easy for me to now understand how I need to move forward. I can no longer worry about the people that don't care for me. And that has been one of the things that I can say that I regretted this year, is that I put a lot of energy in people that didn't have that energy for me. And it kind of took more from me than I ever thought that I had, because I definitely thought that my cup was overfilled. And now I feel like I'm just waiting for my cup to get at least like a quench of thirst, because it's dry. I feel drained. sometimes, and to the point where I even thought I kind of lost who I am and the being of who I perpetuate myself to be. And even just, retreating from places that I would have been able to maximize, like in crowds, I am very, I retreat, or I kind of stay away from it. I get overwhelmed, or I feel like my battery drains so quickly being around crowds, when before, like, that was something that uplifted me, or I enjoyed like having conversations with people, and I don't anymore as much as I did. And I'm just trying to get back to that. So like, just knowing what I'm grateful for and what is going to happen for me in this coming year, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But I don't change anything that has happened, because I think it definitely has allowed me to see people for who they are. But what I can say is that I definitely lost myself in worrying about people that didn't worry about me. And I think that's my biggest regret. And it's not saying that I don't care for humanity, or I know that there's people that do things, are around me, that can't do for me that they want to because of whatever situation they're in. But it's the people that I know that do, and just go out their way not to, or find an excuse not to be. But when it's the other way around, it just seems like the expectations of me is so high, and I have to have those expectations in order for them to be in my life. And I just don't think it's fair. And I think it's just easier for me to just let those people go and figure out their journey, or find somebody else to leech off of, whether it's their energy or monetary value. But I don't have it in me to care or worry about somebody that don't care for me.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Welcome to easier life.
What happened?
I said, welcome to easier life.
Hopefully.
It's not an asshole thing at all. It's just, you got to give energy to what is going to make you great. And that's people, that's things, that's anything that takes time. That's energy. Time is energy, and if it's not making you great, then cut that shit loose.
Understood. But in the place that I was at, I never worried about it, because I never questioned my greatness. So me helping people that wasn't helping me or looking out for me never affected me until the moment where I realized that I needed it. And it wasn't until that point that I had to really take inventory of what's really going on in my life where I'm feeling that way. Because I felt like I had so much energy and belief in myself that for the people that wasn't there, I never paid attention to it until the moment that I felt like I needed them there, and they weren't.
I feel you.
So learning that has now put me in the space where you want me to be. But before, it was never something that affected me enough for me to want to be different.
I just hope you continue keep that at the forefront of your mind, even when things start to get better.
I think it's a process.
For sure.
I think with everything, like, it's so much easier to go back to what you know than what you need. And as long as you have, like you said, that mindset in the forefront, it will remind you that even the times when you want to go backpedal because it's so much easier, that I won't. But I can't tell you that until I'm there.
No, for sure. It's like when you pray because things are so bad, and then things start to get good, and you stop praying because things are getting good. No, you should be praying regardless.
Of course.
Right. That's it's just easy to, like you said, it's easy to go back to the things you know, not the things you need. That's all. It was just an encouragement.
Of course.
That's it?
Yeah.
I was definitely about to play the music, like sing the music, and that would have been bad on the edit, so we're not going to do that. All right, thank you if you have made it to the end of the show with us. We are appreciative of you. We end every show with the with the segment called New Dialogue. New Dialogue is just something that we found interesting this week.
Do you want to go first?
I gotta think about something. Let me think about this on the spot.
If you don't, then I can go.
Do you think?
Wow. Y'all don't know, but now you know that this is going to be our last episode. So it's not really about what I got going on this week, because I talked about earlier. It wasn't that much. But we do definitely appreciate you spending this time with us, supporting us, listening to us, giving you our feedback. Like, we definitely appreciate it. It has nothing to do with y'all. It has really nothing to do with us. It's just the chapters that are changing in our lives and where we're going to go. I do want to say that this is not going to be the last time you hear from me. If you are still looking for me, I do have a podcast coming out with Shan. Be podding. It's called Call Me When You Get Off. And you can definitely find us on your favorite platforms starting in February 2025. So if you are still interested in conversations such as me and Greg, but with a different individual to provide you different perspectives and thought processes and our topics, please tune in to us. We also have a call line if you want that, where you could go leaving your feedback. If you have questions or you want advice, you could definitely tap into that. If you want to email us, you can find us on Call Me When You Get Off, and that's call me when and the letter U get off at gmail.com. We also have a phone number, which I'm not really prepared for, which is 770-284-8175. So even if you want to voice your last thoughts about just a conversation with Greg and Gigi on there, I'll get it. So don't you worry about that. But it is a podcast that I will be starting, so you don't have to worry about not hearing me anymore. But we definitely appreciate you appreciating us in this time that we did have it. It's been a long run. We made it over 100 episodes, and we just look forward to, if you did ever want to hear us, like, just go back to our old episodes. You'll hear a lot of people that was on the show, not on the show, wanted to be on the show, and then us, and all the topics and arguments and disagreements and even agreements that we had. So I look forward for any of the audiences that is looking to hear from me again. Just tap in. I'll be right here. I ain't going nowhere. I'll probably even be more on my social media, but don't hold your breath, but I'm working on it. 2025 is going to be different.
Tap it in.
Yeah.
New dialogue. Okay, so my new dialogue is twofold, right? Gigi said last episode, I wanted to shout out everybody who was involved in 170 episodes of this podcast. Shout outs to especially you, of course, Gigi. You came in the middle or toward the beginning, however you want.
It was definitely the beginning. It was episode like 23, 25. We've done this a few times.
Do math. That's okay.
It was at the middle.
Sure. Shout out to you sticking through it. Ups and downs. A lot of downs.
That's why we're here, y'all.
Shout outs to, Mr. Rent Money, Blaze, and Freelo for making the intro and all that. And shout outs to anybody from Glow to Baylor to Shan, anybody who blessed us with their voice and lend us their content. That was greatly appreciated. So yeah, shout outs to y'all. Secondly, just want to leave with this. If you are someone like me who has been fortunate enough to be able to choose the people who I want in my life, don't get upset when those people care. It's not fair to them. You chose them. You invited them into your life. So if they care about you, don't be upset because they care about you. That's a hard lesson I've had to learn. And I just want to share that with everyone.
You know what? I respect that because I can feel that same sentiment. I don't think it's about being upset that they care about you. I just think you're not ready to deal with whatever they're ready to talk about because they've realized there's something wrong with you. And so that's where the misconception of like anger comes into play. It's just like I'm going through something, and although I want to share that with you, doesn't always mean that I don't want to share with you. It's just like right now, I'm dealing with it, and I'm trying to process it.
Yeah,
for sure. I definitely respect that. I think people misconstrue the idea that someone cares about them as someone like poking or trying to be overbearing. And it's just like, if you was good, I wouldn't even be on your ass. But clearly, just as someone that's been around you, I know you're not okay, and I just want to make sure you're okay.
And I think, but even in a sentiment like that, I think that's on the person that invited that person into their life to give that person some grace and say, I hear you, just not right now.
I get it. But I also believe that it should be I don't want to say double-edged sword. I think it should be looked at both ways. You should provide that person with grace. Because if you're telling me that you know me enough for me to even be as vulnerable with you, that there are going to be moments where I'm not going to be able to show up for you or even show up for myself because of where I'm at.
No, that's understandable.
And so I can't always articulate what's going on with me because I may not know what's going on with me until I figure it out. Like, you might see something that's wrong with me and I'm just like, I'm good. And then it's not until I really take self-inventory to take into consideration, like, I'm not good. And so this is how I'm able to articulate to you what's wrong. It's hard for me to tell you something is wrong if I can't articulate that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you need to articulate what's wrong with you. I'm saying I think there's just some level of, and I'm going to say I'm not good at this and I'm trying to get better at it myself. But it's like there should be on some level, some baseline level of like, okay, if you think I'm not good, but if I'm saying I'm good, I think that's just the way you could go about saying that in a respectful manner, because at the end of the day, that's still your friend. Like, and I'm being extreme, but it's like it's like on one hand saying, nah, I'm good versus I'm good, fuck you, leave me alone. Two extremes.
I can understand what you're saying. I just want to add on to the idea that I've just been in situations where I know that I wasn't okay. I felt like I was okay, but I knew everything was surrounding me didn't show that I was okay. And I've had people abandon me because I wasn't able to articulate that until I realized that I wasn't okay. Yeah. And they never gave me the opportunity to let them know that I wasn't. And they've already made judgment on me deciding how I wanted to handle it. And I think that as we get older, there's certain things that we have experiences that hasn't happened to us yet. So we can't just assume like, I'm going to respond this way because this happened to me. You don't know until it happens. And then when it does happen, that's why I was like, I think it has to be looked on both ways, because yes, I want to give the person grace that want to show up for me, but also give the person grace that still can't articulate that all this time I've been telling you I'm okay. You keep telling me that I'm not. And it's not until the point where I realize that I wasn't, or I've actually taken time to start healing to realize that I wasn't. And now you want to brush me off, or now you want to exclude me from your life because I wasn't able to articulate that. And I think the same way that I'm providing you with grace, with understanding of that, you know that I'm not okay. I think that it should be reciprocated, where if now I get to the point where I'm telling you, like, I know that at that time when I told you that I was good and I'm not, and now I'm telling you that I wasn't, and now you're just ignoring me, just lets me know again when it comes. Okay, well, it was women for me, but
fuck girl.
It just allows me to understand that going forward, these are the people that didn't understand me. It became more about them than what was happening with me. For sure. Because if you were so concerned with me and how I was feeling, you wanted to make sure I was okay, and I wasn't, and you knew that I wasn't. I think that you should give me the moment to allow myself to realize that I wasn't and come to you to tell you that I wasn't, instead of just blocking me out of your life.
I agree. No, I've always agreed with you on that, 1000%.
So, but I've also realized like those are the same people that had to realize like I'm not gonna beg for your time or your energy anymore, because if you couldn't understand that I was at one of the lowest points in my life and you kept thinking about you and how it affected you, then you wasn't my friend. Because I think being a friend sometimes put you in a place where you have to be selfless and take a moment to step outside of the relationship and even yourself to see that someone is not okay. And when they are okay, you're going to show up for them, even if they weren't the same person that they were before.
Yep, that's why my circle is so small.
It's not that small.
No, it is.
It's not that small.
Okay.
My circle is small.
I think our circles is probably the same.
I think my circle is smaller than yours.
I probably have one more person than you.
Oh, okay. Then it's still smaller, my friend.
You okay by a person?
Okay.
But I think people misconstrue who I am with, or who I've invited into my circle. And that's because you see me outside, which is great. Cool, you can see me outside. That's fine. But if you know me, there ain't a lot of people.
Understood.
And I think that is hilarious at times. I got something really funny to tell you, but
okay,
that is hilarious to me. We good?
Yeah. Thank you so much for making it this far in this episode. Me and Greg appreciate you, appreciating us. We know that this is the last episode, but it doesn't mean that you can't tap into Greg. Doesn't mean that you can't tap into me. It just means that this is just a different space where you just won't hear us as often. And with that being said, Greg, you want to let them know how they can find you and how they can find us?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and X at Greg Nelson 26.
Find us. I'm screaming.
Well, you could go back and listen to the episodes if you want. At justaconvo_pod on X and Instagram. And I'll listen to the pod on Acast, Amazon Podcast, wherever you like to see podcasts.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter, known as X, at GCarly7. That's GQARLY and the number 7. You can also find me on Instagram under the new pod, which is Call Me When You Get Off. And that's Call Me with the letter U, Get Off on Instagram. Call me with the letter U, Get Off at gmail.com. I want to say it's Call Me When You Get Off with the U on Twitter /X too. But that's what you'll start seeing me on as the new year comes. And with that being said, if you forgot today, if no one told you today, if you need to be reminded today or for the rest of the year, Greg and I want you to go be great. Gigi.